Are you gay and codependent? Hey guys, this is Michael Pizzullo. I'm a psychotherapist here in West Hollywood. I want to talk to you about gay men who struggle with codependency. So we all have needs and dependency needs in our relationships, particularly our romantic relationships, whether it's a husband, a partner, boyfriend, whatever it is. But sometimes these needs go a little far. And what ends up happening is that our happiness and our sense of ease and calm in the world is dependent on our partner or our significant other and how they feel. So it's basically like, I can't feel good unless you feel good. And this leads to all kinds of dysfunction and unhappiness and so on and so forth. So if you're struggling with this, I want to give you a few things to consider and to think about. So the first thing is that codependency is a learned behavior from childhood. This is some sort of adaptation that came from your upbringing. Usually it was because you were a child dealing with a parent who was either emotionally chaotic or immature or even abusive or something or other, where you learned that your well-being was only intact if they were in a good mood or they were doing well. And so you learn to put their needs before your own. So it's a learned behavior, which means it can be unlearned. But people who come from families that have different structure than that don't typically become codependent and learn to negotiate, meaning my needs versus your needs, in a much more reciprocal, even way. The other thing is that gay men rarely talk about this. Men rarely talk about codependency. We think of emotional needs and dependency. We almost always think of women. All of the books about codependency, almost all of them are written about women, written by women. So if you're a gay man struggling with this, it's going to be hard to find literature that really speaks to your experience. So just keep that in mind when you're reading. If it feels off to you, that might be why. It may be speaking much more to a straight female perspective than to yours as a gay man. But the thing I would reiterate the most is just that codependency is not effective. Codependent people get these fleeting moments where they get it right and they make the other person happy, and then they feel satisfied and good. But those are few and far between. For the most part, you're in a perpetual state of anxiety, frustration, trying to mind read, and it just is a recipe for a lot of dis-ease. So I don't recommend it, and I would definitely dispel and dispute anyone who suggests that they are successfully in a codependent relationship. I don't think it's good for you or for the person that you're with. So what I would suggest is trying to let it go and really start focusing on, just to begin, of can you start to acknowledge your own needs and then find the courage to communicate them to the person that you're with. Just start there, and then the rest of it you can continue to do in the work that you do on yourself. So I hope this was useful. I'd love to hear from you if you've struggled with codependency. What's helped? What hasn't helped? Have you gotten through it? Let me know in the comments.